Alright, so today we're going to look at Section 2.1. Section 2.1 is talking about comparisons. It's talking about ratios and proportions. So ratios are just simply comparisons of two items. Like you can compare boys to girls. We talked about this in some earlier notes also. And proportions are when you take those two ratios and you set them equal to each other. And most proportions are solved by using a process called cross multiplication. So here's an example that we're going to use to discuss proportions and ratios for this section. So we have this table of information. So we have two countries, A and B, and we have information about the motor vehicle deaths in those countries. So in 2011, in country A, the motor vehicle deaths were 1,668. And in country B, the number of motor vehicle deaths was 2,020. And then we do another comparison, and we're talking about motor vehicle deaths per 100,000 people. So it makes a difference because if the countries are different sizes, sometimes the proportions don't justify what you have. So in this other proportion, it's showing that 3.01 motor vehicle deaths per 100,000 people are in country A, and 10.58 motor vehicle deaths per 100,000 people in country B. And then the third one you see here are motor vehicle deaths per 100,000 motor vehicles. So how many people are actually driving cars, or how many cars are there in the country? And then the last one is per 100 million vehicle miles. In other words, how many miles are people actually driving? You might have a car, but you never drive it. So here's some of the information that we want to get. So our first one that says, find the total population in country A. So we need to find the ratios up here that deal with population. So the population are people. So when we're setting this up, we want to set up the 1668, which is the motor vehicle deaths, and the 3.01 are the people, and it's 3.01 per 100,000. So if I set up my proportion, I can use my table just like I've written it, and I can write the 1668 over 3.01 equals x over 100,000. And then I can use my cross multiplication, and I can cross multiply this, and I can end up with x equals 1668 times 100,000 divided by 3.01. And that's going to come up with 155,830,056.5 people. So that means that country A has about 155 million people. I'm going to do the same thing for country B, so I want total population again in country B. So I'm using the 2020 because that's country B's population, or motor vehicle deaths, and the 10.58 is country B's people. So we're setting that one up, and in country B they end up with 19,092,627.6 people. So it's just showing you that country B, even though it has a higher number of motor vehicle deaths, that the population is actually lower than country A. So we can also think about these in terms of spreadsheets. And if I'm doing a cross multiplication product in spreadsheets, I can think of these as cell locations. So for example, this could be, if I have my spreadsheet and this is A, B, C, D, E, and those are my columns, and I have row 1, row 2, row 3, then 1668 is B2. The 100,000, that might be a constant that I'll just type in, and the 3.01 is C2. So this would end up being B2 times 100,000 divided by C2. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the spreadsheets that you have for this. Alright, our third example. This time they're asking you how many motor vehicles in country B. So again, we're going to look at the country B motor vehicle deaths, but we're going to be looking at the 13.08 because that's talking about how many motor vehicles. So we're going to set up our chart with 2020. We're looking for how many motor vehicles, 13.08 out of 100,000 motor vehicles. We set up our proportion. We would cross multiply, and we find out that there are 15,443,425 motor vehicles in country B. And then I can do the same thing for country A, 1668, 5.8 per 100,000. Set up my proportion and cross multiply, and I find out that in country A there are 28,758,620 motor vehicles in country A. So then the last question on our example is find the ratio, remember ratio is a comparison, of motor vehicles in country A to motor vehicles in country B. So I have to make sure that when I set this up, I put country A on top and country B on the bottom because of the way that it's worded. If it said country B to country A, then I would have to switch this. It would make a difference. And then it says scale the second quantity to 1. So basically I'm putting a 1 here. So to solve this problem, I can also think of this as being x. I'm going to set up this proportion and cross multiply, or I'm just going to be taking the 28 million and dividing it by the 15 million, and I come out with 1.86219, which is 1.9. So that's saying the ratio is 1.9 to 1. So the ratio of motor vehicle deaths in country A to motor vehicle deaths to country B is 1.9 motor vehicle deaths to 1 motor vehicle death. So for every, rounding it off, so basically almost for every 2 deaths in country A, there's only 1 death in country B. So I hope this helps.